Multinational, a multinational is usually a large-scale enterprise which operates and produces in more than one country. A large-scale enterprise which operates and produces in more than one country is called a multinational. They have to not only operate but also produce in more than one countries in order to be called multinationals. Multinationals are going to, you know, start their operations in foreign countries because they are going to find it really lucrative. They are going to find it really beneficial to themselves. A lot of advantages are going to be enjoyed by multinationals uh, when they operate in foreign countries. First of all, the first thing which is going to be beneficial to them are the exchange rates. Normally, the multinational companies, they belong to countries, highly developed countries from European Union, or some American countries are also starting to open their operations in various countries of the world. They tend to do that because of the fact that they enjoy a lot of benefits in terms of exchange rate. Their currency is stronger than the currency of foreign countries. As a result of it, they are going to find it highly beneficial. They are going to uh, get cheaper raw material, cheaper labor, cheaper transportation, cheaper land. Everything is going to be cheap for them. So cost of land, cost of labor, cost of transportation, cost of raw material, and all these costs are going to be lower for these kind of businesses called multinationals. They tend to get government grants because governments want these large-scale enterprises, these large-scale multinational companies to operate in their country. That is why they are going to give them uh, tax waivers sometimes, or they are going to allow them to operate in a very easy way as compared to other local businesses because they are bringing in a lot of foreign exchange. So, a few advantages of being a multinational, or why are multinationals formed? Because they can enjoy these benefits, and due to these benefits being enjoyed by these large-scale enterprises, they are going to flourish more and more. Then after that, we have to talk about the benefits that a multinational brings to local country, to the host country. The host country is going to enjoy some benefits, for allowing the multinational to start its operations in its premises, in its area. What are the benefits? Obviously, the multinational is going to start its operations and it is going to bring in a lot of employment opportunities. Employment opportunities are coming to the host country as a result of its standard of living of general masses is going to improve. GDP is going to be better. Economic growth is going to take place in the host country. When more production is going to happen, their dependence on imports is going to reduce. And when more production is going to happen, their imports are going to reduce and their exports are going to increase. Consequently, resulting in better balance of trade for the host country. Competition improves, choices for the consumers improve as well. These multinationals are going to bring in a lot of tax revenue for the host country as well, helping the host country to carry out more development activities. So the multinationals are going to basically help the host country in so many different ways. There are some problems for the host country as well. It's not all good. The rosy side of the picture is there, or the brighter side of the picture. We have just talked about it. The darker side has to be talked about as well. What is the darker side? Obviously, exploitation of workforce is going to take place. The multinationals are going to force the workers to sometimes beyond their working capacity. They may be treated like machines as per F.W. Taylor's theory. And the smaller businesses are going to be swept away out of the market, which means monopolies are going to be formed by these large-scale enterprises, and as a result of it, higher prices may be charged to the uh, local community, resulting in decline in their standard of living. Sometimes quick depletion of resources is also going to take place because the multinationals are not going to be miserly in spending the resources. They are just going to deplete the resources very quickly because it's not their home country. And why should they be showing mercy, on the local resources? They are just going to use them up very quickly. The profits are going to go back to the parent country from or the country of origin of the multinational. That is also a problem which is going to be faced by the host country. So a few advantages and a few disadvantages of multinationals. We are still continuing with the first unit. The first unit, I'm not necessarily, dividing them in terms of chapters here. We are basically moving on to business growth, which is the next chapter in unit 1. Business growth normally takes place in two different ways. There is internal growth and there is external growth. Internal growth is when a business grows from its own resources, and external growth is when two or more businesses combine to form a larger enterprise. So internal growth, it is also called organic growth or normal growth, because during the normal course of action, when a business is going to find extra resources, it is going to grow. And when it is going to grow, organically or normally, during the normal course of action, that kind of growth is called organic growth or internal growth. A school is opened and then it opens another branch, that is called internal growth. But if there's a school and another school takes over that school, then to become a bigger school, then we are talking about external growth, because when two or more businesses combine together to form a larger enterprise, that is when external growth is happening. It is sometimes also called inorganic growth. Now, when we are talking about external growth normally takes place in two different ways. The first way in which external growth takes place is where we are talking about a takeover. A takeover is when usually a large-scale enterprise buys a smaller enterprise, when a large-scale enterprise buys a smaller enterprise in such a way that the identity of the smaller one is completely lost. The process is called takeover. Takeover is when a large business buys uh, a smaller business in such a way that identity of the smaller business is completely lost. There's no new business identity in this scenario. In fact, one of the businesses actually vanishes from the map of the industry. That is what you call as a takeover. Now, takeover, when it is taking place, so obviously a lot of advantages are going to be there. But before jumping on to advantages and disadvantages of takeover, we can actually combine the advantages and disadvantages of takeover and merger together. So let's talk about merger. Merger is when two or more businesses combine together in such a way that a new business identity is formed. So when two or more businesses combine together in such a way that a new business identity is formed, uh, that process is called a merger. So merger, two businesses, they are, one is not taking over another. Both are now combining their resources, and they are combining them forever. It's not like a joint venture where there's a temporary arrangement. It's a permanent arrangement between two businesses where they combine their resources forever in such a way that a completely new business identity is formed. Both the businesses hold the rights of controlling the business, and they are actually now running the business together instead of on standalone basis. Okay, so a merger and a takeover. Whenever we are talking about a merger or a takeover, there are going to be advantages. The advantages are called economies of scale. All the five economies of scale, that is purchasing, financial, managerial, marketing, and technical economies of scale, are going to be talked about. And then we have the second, type of thing, which are going to be termed as disadvantages. The disadvantages are basically diseconomies of scale, where now when a business grows large, communication problems are going to be there. Coordination problems are going to be there as well, and alienation or demotivation of workforce is going to be consequence of becoming a large-scale enterprise as well.